murder on the street, so it's not.
You want to hold it?
So, I'm assuming the mic is like that.
I think so.
Okay.
Just talk at the phone. I'm sure it'll pick it
Should
up.
we just put it on your knee? On the knee?
Is that what we're
On the knees, then you
On the
knees.
Welcome to On the Knees.
On your knees?
Every week's a new name for this
call
podcast.
on the reg.
Yeah.
On the reg?
Yeah.
On your knees with guys making videos.
I said that already.
I know. That's
Why did you guys laugh at him?
That was a
Or you
great.
guys laugh
That
at
was a
me?
sick one, Brad.
Dude, he's actually. Kurt's actually upset. He's like, I made that joke.
No,
I
it's
know.
still going. I'm pretty sure.
That was
Is it?
great.
Yeah, I think it is.
Awesome.
I love our names for
You
things.
just gotta hold it.
On your knees with guys making videos. Beat my meet and greet.
Is this dog okay? It's like
he's trying to sleep.
wincing and
No, he's trying to sleep.
That's all little dogs.
Yeah, they just-
all little dogs
So are we calling it on the reg?
on your knees.
What are we voting?
on the rag.
I
I
vote-
say uncensored. It's just simple.
I vote on
Everything's
the reg.
uncensored. We do.
Yeah.
Simran?
I don't care. Let's just.
Oh wow! So now it's back to
I don't care podcast.
but 2-1 on the reg.
Yeah, on the rag wins.
I'm gonna abstain.
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 Abstinence.
Absol.
I'm gonna abstain. Isn't that a rock? Isn't that like a meteor that gives you power?
That's
Splash
obsidian.
damage? Oh, that's
There you
obsidian.
go, obsidian.
I love obsidian.
I'm gonna obsidian from this world.
I'm gonna abstain.
So
Okay.
so once again, this is just the podcast where we talk about anything
Anything and everything and
but
what's going on.
Ideally, one conversation at a time.
All right, so Black Friday, Kurt, how was it?
It's good. I have a black eye. If you guys didn't notice,
You have a black guy?
I have a black eye. I have a black guy.
You're not allowed to do that anymore. They outlawed that.
There was Civil War and everything.
But how am I gonna do
Oh,
all
was
the
that
things?
Marvels?
Oh
Was that
yeah.
Marvel's Civil War?
Yeah, that's it.
But
Captain America said no more.
No more black guys. Wait, what?
blonde hair, blue eyes.
Black Panther was in that movie.
Um,
Okay, we gotta stop. This is getting
Uncensored.
uncensored. On
um,
the Rick.
On the reg.
so Kurt just started working at Under Armour maybe a couple months ago.
A couple months
Do you
ago.
want
a month
like
ago?
fucking 3 weeks ago.
Would you like to share this information with the world?
Yeah, I've been working there for a month.
Oh, come on. Sorry, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah. Like we've been friends for fucking 10 years.
Yeah. Well, you and him have been friends for almost 20.
Making videos for how long now?
7.5, I think.
Yeah, 7.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty deep in there.
We have a whole 6 subscribers.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You've been making videos for 7 years.
Yeah. 7.5 years.
Got a lot to show for it.
Kurt actually has been making videos for like 7.5 years though.
Something like that.
There's
Yeah, high
on and off stuff, I guess. Yeah, you guys should look up my
OVAs.
my soccer ad I made for Marketing 10.
No, we're not watching that again.
It's so good though.
Cut to.
No.
Just cut
No.
to me holding the gate.
All right, you just,
Yeah.
you just saw the soccer ad.
I'm not cutting anything into
I
these
know.
podcasts.
It's our ongoing joke of we're always
Ongoing. This is the second podcast.
No, I'm saying we're always doing the recurring sing double.
The other thing that
jokes.
that's the other thing I was gonna say with you guys is like I enjoy the reoccurring jokes for us, but I feel like sometimes nobody knows what's going on. Right?
It only works if
Which is
they
fine.
say
It's
the
just fine
joke
too. I'm
somehow.
just to acknowledge that sometimes
And I think it's pretty funny when we
Like-
come back to the joke.
if we cut back to it,
Yeah,
yeah. but
Sometimes we transcend humor.
So yeah, Black Friday is.
Tune in next time when we talk about the process of capitalism and how it has depleted
fucking
us.
car, right?
Call back.
nobody knows what we're talking about.
Exactly.
But like, I know exactly what we're talking about.
All right. Anyways, what have
You
you
want to go
guys,
to Jack in the Box?
have you
or,
guys
like,
done anything new this week? I beat Red Dead.
Oh, there you go.
Red Dead 2?
I beat Red Dead 2.
How many hours did you put in total? You think?
I still am putting hours in.
Is that Red Dead 2 more redemption?
Yeah. Red
But like, no, it was
There's no cell reception.
50, 60, 70 hours. 80?
Probably, yeah. The story is amazing. I gotta say, people told me that the story drops off after chapter 4. It only gets more fucking crazy. Like, I was like, this is so weird.
It's a
like,
prequel to Red Dead 1, right?
yeah.
Still plays as James Marsden?
No, you're playing as Arthur Morgan, the most trusted loyal gunman to the Vanderlyn gang. the right hand man.
Is that actually?
Yeah, that is actually really fun. No, the story gets like really good. Like it was like an Oscar movie after a while. I thought it was
An Oscar movie?
Oscar level like movie. It was like a movie video game. You know how you love those.
Yeah.
Sim's favorite.
Yeah.
Sim. If you guys don't know, loves to hate anything that's.
I never said I hated anything.
Sorry.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Yeah.
I just think that some games are movies, or they try and be movies that you interact
This
with.
one could walk that line, but I feel like you do a lot.
But yeah,
more.
I feel like you have so many options to do things.
Whereas like you're playing Last of Us, and it's like you're going in that linear direction. Like I can stop the story and just go fucking tie a guy up and throw him for the crocodiles.
So I've seen so many like mods, or I'm not sure if they're mods, but do you get to like your character, you get to change him or whatever?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So like I saw one little clip of a guy that made Kratos. Like he made him look exactly like Kratos, and he had a little hatchet, and he just started killing people with the hatchet.
That's pretty wild.
That's
And,
nuts.
Like so, they just make people look like whatever they want. They made one guy look like CJ from San Andreas, and just ran around killing people as CJ in the Old West.
That must be a mod because
yeah.
you can only
You can only be white.
you can only be that white guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can only be Arthur Morgan. You can change his hair and his like.
Okay,
beard
that's
and
probably
stuff.
And then drink those tonics to grow his hair out.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have to actually wait for this guy to grow
You
his hair out.
do.
Yeah, I
You
know.
do.
And then,
There's a few time skips where it's like, okay, your hair's really long. You got a big beard now, like shit like that. But
I was gonna say is I was playing yesterday, and like there's a part where we're like in the mountains, and there's like wolves.
wait, you played?
Yeah, like one of my boys has the Xbox One X, and we're playing. It looks phenomenal.
The game is like it's probably the most beautiful game I've seen. Though.
Yeah, and like it's almost too
That's the beginning.
too real. Like where you're riding a horse and you bump into a tree and you like
Yeah,
fall
you can
off.
actually
Yeah.
fall.
And I'm like, this is it's not a video game anymore. It's not fun.
For them, like
yeah, no, I can see that. It's like you
I can
you want to
see that.
suspend some realism.
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
right? To the point
Every
where
single
you-
time I bumped into a tree, my horse fell off. And every time my horse got longer and longer to get up, I was like, the fuck up. Like, I want to
Yeah.
go. There's no fast
But
travel.
it's getting
in the game.
injured. You're bumping into a tree.
no, there is fast travel.
It's you
It's
hold
just-
the A button and you go on the path, but you're like...
No. There is actual fast travel. Like you can buy a map and then it's at your camp and you just choose like a town you want to go to. But it's not outright told to you. Like a lot of things aren't explained.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of this game you are just riding across the map to go to stuff and like
You have to
for
unlock,
some people that's a turn off I guess. But
you have to
like,
unlock a place. Like you have to get to a place first in order to fast
yeah, you
travel,
have to
right?
have visited the town to be able to
Yeah.
fast travel to it. You can also take trains and there's like carriages and you just pay some money and they'll take you. But yeah, no, the stories what got me the most. I was like, fuck, I actually like cried a bit. I was like, damn, it was great.
Like I was literally playing. There's these two wolves barking at a fucking guy on a rock, and then I blast the two wolves with a semi-automatic shotgun.
Yeah.
And then the guy came down. He's like, "Oh, thank you so much." And then I fucking
Kill the guy.
and I literally butted him with my rifle, and then blew his head off, and then took his hat. 'Cause I didn't want my hat.
All right.
I've done shit like that where you save someone and they're like, thank you so much, and then you run to town, run into them in the town, and they're like, oh here, take this to go buy yourself like you're like a really nice slug gun. And it's like, oh shit, okay, like,
Well,
shit like that.
Well,
like,
you got his hat though.
yeah, but you got a hat. That's more
That's
important.
all that matters.
And we were in the middle of nowhere, so
Whenever there's a massacre, I'm like going through, I'm like finding all the hats. I'm like, fuck, this hat's shitty. I keep looking.
no, for me, it's like he was in the middle of nowhere. Like, what was he? He's in a freeze. He's in a t-shirt because you actually have to change into your winter
Yeah,
gear,
you do.
or
yeah.
you freeze
if you're in the winter.
in the mountains.
Snow, yeah.
So he's in a t-shirt. He's gonna die anyway. So I just wanted to put a quick end to him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, totally. I totally get what you're saying.
Mercy.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
I understand people like have been turned off by this game because it's slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
But like, there's a point where you in the story, you just like shit happens, and then from there it's just like non-stop. Like you're always on the run. Everything's fucked up.
I can
Like,
already tell for me though, playing it, I played it for like maybe like 45 minutes yesterday. I can already tell for me, it's not a 10 out of 10 game. Like it's just
I don't know. You gotta beat this. Story.
no. I'm not saying like the story will obviously add to it, but like to me, it's like too realistic.
I can.
So it's like hyper realistic.
actually,
It's
See the.
it stops becoming a video game. Like even with the horse.
Yeah.
Like when you're riding your horse in any other game, you just hold the speed burst and you just think like here you have to like hit A every time he gallops. But if you gallop him too hard, like if you work him too hard, he'll like buck you off and like you'll like like he won't want to think. And I'm like, okay, this is not a game. Like I just want to like
It can be
It's
tedious in
tedious.
that regard.
That happened with the second Tomb Raider for me, where it's like you can't just collect things and whatever. You have to like craft them now. So
Yeah.
you can't just have things. You can't just pick them up. You have to you need 10 different things to make one thing.
thing.
I just need some arrows.
Yeah.
I just need some fucking arrows.
Yeah, no,
Come
exactly.
on.
We need to pick up the wood from the branches.
Yeah.
Some people love that.
Some
shit.
people love
whatever.
it.
So it's like
See, like
obviously it depends.
Going into this game, like I like games that are like not realistic because that's why I play games. I want to like experience a world I wouldn't normally obviously experience.
Yeah.
So like cowboys, like the Old West, it's like okay, this is like based so much out of realism, I guess. For me, that's why I've been turned off by Rockstar games in the past.
Yeah.
I do like cowboy stuff, but like playing it, like it is tedious, like the horse stuff sometimes, like you don't.
But it's that balance.
It will go around trees. You won't hit the tree always, like
Yeah.
but like occasionally if you hit a rock, then you're going flying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were about to say.
It's that balance of fun though, but it's
Yeah.
like that's the thing is there is no necessarily like balance per se because other people because I've heard the opposite, right? Is
Yeah.
they're like they like Battlefield because it's so real. You
Yeah,
can like break the
exactly.
walls and
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
all these
exactly.
the sand
It
whatever
takes me
like
45 minutes to get to the fight. Or
Yeah,
that's real.
exactly.
That's like
Love
real
it.
life. Like
Yeah.
like people are the opposite.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I just want to play COD and want to spawn in 3
It's-
seconds, turn
once
around,
you
see
get-
a dude and start shooting him.
Yeah.
Right? You want that like
Exactly.
that crack feeling of like, oh fuck, start going kind of thing.
Yeah, you hit a certain point where like you understand all the mechanics, and throughout the entire game they're always introducing new stuff, even at the end. But you hit a point where it's like, okay, I understand how this works, and you don't have those issues really. Like my horse was at a point where it's like I don't need to stop, like pressing. Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna get tired, because I have a good horse. But like in the beginning, yeah, you have to like watch your stamina for your horse a bit, and but yeah, there's certain elements that are a little too realistic. I can agree. I guess like having to set up a campfire and you gotta tear down the campfire and you can craft things and shit like that. But just like the realism and like every mission you do, they make it interesting somehow. Like shit just hits the fan always or something happens and like it just the writing is the best part, I gotta say though. But
I wish I had more time to like play and watch things. 'Cause I used to play and watch a lot of things,
That
but
was
now I don't have like a lot of time.
Yeah,
Which is okay.
Kurt's one of those guys that like legit spends. I remember on Persona 4, he bought it like $100 at the collector's.
I was totally gonna. I played all of
Yeah.
Persona 4. I fucking milked the shit out of Persona
Oh,
4. So
yeah.
I'm like, well, obviously I'm gonna
5.
milk Persona 5.
Yeah.
And then it was like the beginning was just so much. Like I swear I'm like an hour and a half in, and there's still like, hey, by the way, if you pull it, like it's like
Yeah.
the part where I'm actually playing is I walked from one door to the next door, and then another cutscene, and then I'm reading a bunch of shit,
Yeah.
and that takes like 10 minutes, and then I do one battle. And then we're back, and then they don't even let me run back to my house. They teleport me back to my house, and then there's another cutscene, and then I'm slowly like I'm almost there where I get to run around and do stuff. But it's been like at least an hour and a half, and I don't get to
Yeah.
like do my own thing yet. They're still like running you through the beginning part of the game.
Yeah.
But like I know like it'll get fun and stuff like that, but just I haven't played it, so I don't have the time
That's
to
the
like
thing,
invest
like-
all of that in there yet.
Like now at our age, like you gotta like really. It's like, is this game worth me? Like a 60-hour game, like I'm always so hesitant now. This is probably why I like indie games now, because like
That's
just pick
yeah,
it up
that
and
too,
play it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, going into Red Dead, I'm like, this game is gonna be long, and I haven't played a really long game in a while, and like I know it's gonna eat my time and all that shit. But I'm like, it better be worth it, Like I have to
Yeah.
like see all the.
That's with everything. That's why like Netflix is like 90% of Netflix is choosing what to watch
Exactly,
and then
yeah.
not watching anything or watching something you've already watched. Like we'll just put Friends on or something.
Yeah,
and you're just like-
exactly.
Or well, I'm rewatching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the- or The
I know
Office.
it's good. Like I know it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And you're watching, and like it's like, why would I spend? I don't know if this other thing that I might want to watch might be good.
I always thought watching Game of Thrones might not be that entertaining because it's like the reason why I watch is kind of want to know what happens.
Yeah.
But if I know what happens, then it's like
But
it's like
I-
for example like that whole season where spoilers. Okay, actually no spoilers.
Yeah.
Where whoever it is dies. You're like, but I'm watching all this shit. If there's this build up, he
But
may or
it's
may not,
different.
whatever. He's gonna die
'cause it's
anyway.
like,
So why
like,
do
the
I
way
care?
I'm watching now, it's like, well, you're gonna get fucked.
Yeah,
You're gonna
exactly.
get fucked up.
I
I
rewatched
guess
it.
so.
Like you
That's
just have
true.
like a,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you're watching like Rob Stark get married to like that girl, and you're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? This
Yeah.
is stupid.
Why would you make that
do
decision?
Yeah.
And like
No,
you,
yeah.
you get to see all the people like,
Uh,
because when you first watch it, I was like, oh yeah, Rob's getting like he's in love. Like why are they getting mad at him, right? And then stuff happens.
Especially,
And then-
yeah.
Now watching it, I'm
But-
like, Kate, like your mom's right. You're
Yeah.
wrong in the situation, man.
it's because now you know what the
'Cause now
show
you know the
is.
result.
You know there's
Especially with
consequences.
That show
Yeah.
is like, I noticed all these little details or like little characters that are mentioned,
Yeah.
like offhandly, and I didn't even like know
You
who
didn't
they
care.
were yet, or I didn't care enough. And now like rewatching, I was like, oh, that's
I-
important,
yeah.
or that's like subtle.
Yeah,
or,
like now whenever Littlefinger talks, I understand everything
oh
he's
yeah,
doing.
exactly.
Like I get it, and I know what he did, and blah blah blah. Right, so it's
Sorry.
like,
You were gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say for me, like no matter how good the show is, like I rarely ever rewatch shows. The only things I rewatch are comedies, like movies or stand up, whatever. Because shit's just funny, like shit, like White Chicks. I would watch that movie 100 more times.
I have noticed that your memory is really good in terms of stuff that you watch and stuff. Like mine's not. If like the first time I watched Game of Thrones and now I'm starting to watch it again, there's a lot of stuff that I just didn't remember watching the first time. But I know you're a guy, like, you remember
everything,
all the things, so it's like you don't need to.
Yeah, I'll be like, yo, guys, remember that part in Venom where the thing was going? And you're like, bro, I don't
remember half that movie.
It seems like the movie was shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yo, it's funny because it's like, remember this for your biology test. My brain's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like, remember this thing from the shitty movie that came out 12
What if
years
they
ago?
made your biology textbook?
That episode of Iron Fist where he's like, I don't even care about that.
What? Show's still on? That show got cancelled, actually.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So
Luke
did
Cage.
Luke Cage.
And Iron Fist, yeah. But apparently they're talking about making Heroes for Hire, which is
I don't know what that is.
oh, both of them in the comic books. Heroes for Hire.
Oh.
Iron Fist and Luke Cage together.
Oh, okay.
Because the episode of Luke Cage where Iron Fist and him team up
Yeah.
is the best episode of Luke Cage that came out. Because it was like just buddy cop, not buddy, like, it's like that buddy. They're like kicking ass and fucking shit up, and then obviously you can merge the budgets so they can have a little bit bigger budget.
Fun
I
fact.
know Daredevil's still doing well in there.
Yeah, Daredevil's fucking killer it.
The guy who plays Danny Rand is the same guy who plays Loras Tyrell in Game of Thrones.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
But he's gay in Game of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, he is.
He's gay in...
Yeah. Who's that?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
What's her name? Something Wing.
The Asian lead?
Yeah.
The girl lead? I don't
She's
know.
so pretty.
Yeah.
She's so pretty. Anyways,
I felt like she was winging it that whole time. Add that in when you edit this.
Cut to the thing.
Enough about AAA games and
Movies.
triple Game of Thrones and movies.
let's get back to us.
Yeah.
Let's get back to us.
What else have you guys been doing on the reg?
Did you just say on the reg enough times?
Yeah,
Like, why isn't the show
we're
just
gonna
on the
believe
reg?
it.
Wow. Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm busy. Fucking.
Yeah, you seem
this
really
sounds like
busy now.
reflections, but whatever. This is on the reg.
No, we can talk
Yeah.
about it. They
On
get
our
kinda
knees, on our knees.
interspersed a bit.
Yeah. No, I fucking work a lot more than I used to, but it's
You're
not.
busy.
Yeah. Work 3 jobs, but it's really not that many hours relative. But it's
such
a lot more than I
millennial
did.
thing. Like
Yeah.
work 3 jobs, but it still doesn't add up to like what a one regular job should be sometimes.
But I prefer that because I don't. I was telling Sim like I don't want to work the same job over and over again.
Fair.
And they also expect less of you,
Oh yeah.
right? If you're
So
there
true.
like 1 day a week, they're like, he's only there for a day,
whatever,
whatever.
I don't know. They
Bosses.
expect less, or you just do less. They're like he's there for one
No,
day.
it's,
Both.
like anybody that shows up in my pharmacy that's only going to be there for 1 day, I give them the least amount of things to do. Because it's just like, you're gone tomorrow, so why the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I can't yell at him.
Yeah.
He said I have to wait a week, and I'm not gonna remember next week.
Yeah. Or I'll give them like busy work that I don't. Like, this
Wanna
doesn't
see
matter.
you?
Yeah.
The Monday.
Like go to the corner and just do that shit, and I'm gonna do my own shit, kind of thing.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Do you have pharmacists that are only there 1 day a week?
Yeah, they show up like if they're covering a shift or something like that. I give them the easiest jobs to do that, and then some of the jobs that I don't want to do that are boring.
Can we cover shifts?
Can we work at the?
Yeah, can you go through the program and get a license?
No, I thought you said there's like stand-in, like whatever, like kind of.
You mean like just techs and stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
yeah.
You have to have worked as a tech.
how do you get a? How do you?
How do you work as a
volunteer.
tech?
you literally probably have to volunteer.
Oh, can I volunteer at your pharmacy?
Yes. I mean, you can. We got a lot of people though.
Yeah, but it's all about who you know, though.
But like, can we though?
Guys
Yeah.
making drugs.
Yeah. Wait, how much do techs get paid?
Depends on how good of a tech you are.
Whoa.
If you're running the show, right?
Like,
I hate when they do that. Like, how much do you think you should get paid?
well, that's a tactic, right? It's like if it's lower than what I'm gonna pay.
yeah,
you.
but then I'll highball them, and then I can.
So how much do you think you
barter
get
my
paid?
way
$100 an hour.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
Your move, bitch.
Yeah, I'll
Then
give
they
you.
might
I'll give
not
you
hire you.
60.
So it's like, oh.
It's $100 now. I'll give you 16. All right.
Deal. I was expecting 12.
Yeah. I'm down for 60.
Works for me.
Oh yeah, Brady, so you're gonna go to Japan?
Yes, I'm planning on leaving in March or April. March most likely.
I swear, buddy here like 2 months ago was like, yeah, no more vacations for a while.
No.
Goes to Cuba, goes to Japan.
So
went to Toronto.
So here's the thing is that like I can't speak about anything right now, but there are things in the works for
Who's
me.
dropping? Oh, he's hinting at something.
Dropping my Fire album in 2019.
Oh shit.
No, and so it might be a lot easier for me to go on said trips and stuff around in 2019, especially to like sun destinations and stuff like that. Probably like peanuts. And so, as much as I was like, yo, look, I'm not, because I'm getting to that point where it's like, I want to travel like 4 times a year and stuff. But with all the shit going on in my family life and stuff, it's very difficult, right? And so that's why this year, instead of going on 4 trips like I usually do, I only went on 2, right? And one of them was to take my mom out to just get her out of the house because my grandpa passed away. Mm-hmm. And and then luckily all my cousins just tagged along. And instead of me, my sister, my mom, it became this 13-person family trip. And we all like enjoyed it and loved it. And it was great. But yeah, it was only supposed to be 1 trip this year just because there's been fucking just thing after thing that's like, you feel like you're drowning.
Financially.
And it was nice to just get out of here and just forget about all my worries and my problems and just go and have fun for a week. But next year it should be easier and should cost me next to nothing to fly around the world and stuff like that. It's coming up, and so that hopefully pans out. And but before that, no, I've been to Japan in every season except spring, and I want to see it in the
cherry blossoms.
The cherry blossoms, sakura trees.
You're not going for that. You're going to see Lily and Layla.
Yeah,
it's not for that.
Yeah. Well, Lily's actually moving back to Canada.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Layla's staying there, but her boyfriend lives in California, and
so she's moving
to here so that she can just travel back and forth to Cali.
Okay.
Oh.
I guess, and then he can travel up here, and it's opposed to like $1,000 flight from.
Is she gonna teach Japanese?
I have no clue what she's gonna do.
That'd be cool.
Like
right? She teach English there, and then you teach Japanese here.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Welcome back,
Lily, in 6 months. 6 months.
We do miss you.
Yeah, we do.
And the other you.
Yeah. Both yous.
Both yous.
No,
they're Azams. Hey, me and Sim were on that one.
All right.
Okay.
I was trying to make the joke, but I didn't know their last name.
Yeah. That's how I was like, I'll help. Give it the assist. And then the alley-oop. Okay, but so I haven't seen it in the spring, so I'm going to go down in the spring. And it's a perfect time, one last time, to see Lily and Layla together in Japan. And, just be... Because it's been more than a year. Like my it's seeing them every year, going to Japan every year, seeing all the family and friends there. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get the chance to go this year because...
Make sure you see Kazu-sama.
Yeah, Kazu-sama. Kazu-sama.
Make sure you get another pair of those Spider-Man headphones.
Yeah. Wait.
Same movie.
People don't even know what the hell we're talking about.
Okay, so we went to the club
in Japan,
and it just turned out that they were having a joint promotion with Spider-Man: Homecoming.
But it was because it was months and months after the movie came out.
Yeah, but in Japan it was just releasing. So even though it came out for us,
is it?
Yeah, it released like 4 months later. But for us, it came out in like May, and then for them it came out in September.
So they had free swag at the door for the club.
So we went to the club thinking like, oh, we're gonna get girls and we're gonna drink lots of liquor and spend lots of money. We spent $0.
Yeah.
The bar manager there was one of our friends, good friends from high school. He literally lined up at least $300-$400 worth of shots.
We went on a Wednesday and there was nobody in there.
There was nobody in there. We had the best time ever.
Yeah,
We had
so
taco
We
night.
had tacos.
We had tacos.
Yeah.
We had
So good.
unlimited Jaeger
We
bombs.
had cigarette smoke to inhale in the room.
Like none of us smoked cigarettes, and I think we smoked a carton each.
Yeah.
Through secondhand
Yeah,
smoke.
just by sitting there.
Jeez.
We had tacos all night. We had Jaeger bombs, all the liquor we wanted.
We had a girl from somewhere in Eastern Europe that didn't want to talk to Sam.
I think you're mixing nights up.
Yeah, mixing
No, that was that night.
That was me and you. We talked.
Yeah,
to
we
girls.
talked to them.
at the bar.
Okay, to be
At the
fair,
bar.
they
I'm like,
didn't want
this
to
is-
talk to either of us.
Yeah, and we're like,
I just made fun of them. But
Yeah.
it's good.
like, you were making fun of them while we were standing there next to them.
No, I made fun of them to their face.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I was like, why do you come to a bar?
I'm not what I'm talking about.
Do you smile? I was like, have you ever smiled in your life? Well, I knew it was like going downhill, so I was like, I'm just gonna.
It's going downhill. We're gonna make it way worse.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Might as well light the ship on fire while I'm
while it's sinking.
Yeah.
But anyways, we went in there thinking that we were just gonna drink some drinks and dance around. We didn't dance at all. We were eating tacos.
No,
and
we danced.
Oh no, we did dance. We did dance.
They put on that chant song that we kept. Visit Kazu-sama.
Yeah, and then
Kazu-sama at podcast.com.
Kazu, you're the man. You're the man.
Yeah.
For those that don't know,
I know
Sama is a way of being respectful for your elders and people at work that are above you.
They do. That gives you drinks.
He looked like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
He was a manager of a club and super nice.
And then we got free T-shirts and textbooks and headphones and posters and backpacks. You don't understand how dumb this sounds. It was even more fucking
I
weird.
still have that T-shirt.
I do.
Yeah.
Mine's at Grid's house.
Nice. I don't think I've ever worn it, but
Hey, sometimes you gotta keep it in the packaging.
So they never wear it.
Yeah, it's worth 1 cent more 30 years down the line.
yeah.
Um,
All right. Well,
Yeah,
so
but-
go to Japan.
Go to Japan,
Apparently
March.
You're now a drug dealer or something.
No, he has hookups with the.
The flight company.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
No, I have a friend that works at Air Canada too. So this is funny to me too. So he's the guy. One of his jobs is the directing thing. You know that guy only gets paid like $15 an hour.
Yeah.
So the guy that's directing the however many person huge ass airplane.
350 people.
Yeah, he's getting paid like $15, and he said he almost got sucked into the turbine the other day. And he's like, bro, I do not get paid enough to fucking.
Holy shit.
Bro, that's not even funny.
That's not even. He's just like, yo, this is fucking crazy, man. Like, I don't get paid enough, but. Right? But then as a
He
result,
almost died.
he gets free.
Yeah, so all my friends that
He
work
didn't
there,
die.
He did
He
die.
almost died.
But that's the thing. As a result, he gets free. He could fly anywhere.
Yeah,
pretty
like
much.
all my boys that work at the airlines at Delta and all that, they literally just have to pay essentially it's tax.
Yeah.
Like we all went to Japan and we booked. So the year before I went without these guys, I paid $1,200, and then because we booked 3 weeks before the trip. And when I went with these guys, we booked 3 months before. We paid $700,
like 8,
right?
7.
Yeah.
These guys can book the weekend before, and they literally pay $87.
Well, it's because they're on standby. They're on standby. But there's almost always for
There's always
big.
Japan. They have the triple
So they have seats available no matter what.
Yeah, and you're good to go. And you can, and because it's a alliance of airplanes, all the different airlines, you can fly. You can buy tickets and you can return them once you're home and buy from 5 different airlines. Because if you go that day, you're like, I don't know which airline I'm gonna go with or whatever, and then you buy it with.
Actually,
So these guys could fly anywhere, even into turbines.
They can fly first class or they can fly no class.
I had to get that. It was formulating for a bit while you're talking.
It's brewing.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you
Did
saying?
you say April?
March, April, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's.
Kurt's
I was
going.
thinking later because then I don't know. My friends at training want to go to Thailand and train there and stuff. But then I was like, it's cheaper because my friend at there, whatever, he's training with me too. And then he's like, if we get it, it's because there's no flights from here to Thailand on Air Canada.
Yeah.
No.
So we'd have to go to Japan or something like that. So we could go to Japan, do that, and then go to Thailand and train or something like that. But I don't know if I can do that by March or right. I was thinking more May or whatever, but maybe
I can join you guys on a second
April.
trip once everything pans up.
Oh yeah.
Then I'll just go every week. Just fuck it.
That's true. If that guy hooks us, because I think he can bring a couple people too, right, on standby too.
Yeah, buddy, yeah.
But that'd be cool.
So trips coming up next year. I got
Cool.
quite the amount because I have weddings, destination weddings. I think I'm going to Sri Lanka. I'm going to Japan, Dominican Republic.
Oh, how's it looking for you with your moving out situation? Just curious.
So, it's complicated.
Because then Bobby was so our friend Bobby, you guys should meet Bobby. I keep telling Bobby he should do stuff. Because people would Bobby is one of those guys that if everybody was more like Bobby, the world would just be a better place.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's it's just a fact. That's not even debatable.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he was maybe gonna move out with me and Mandu. Because me and Mandu already have that too. But there's one place that's 17. There's a few places that are 17. So that's even cheaper for us right now. But then if we get 4 people.
I haven't discussed this yet, but I'm considering going to animation school. So I don't know.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, I'm so disappointed.
Do you still you want that? That's your.
You really want that to be your job?
I know. Okay, no, because my thing is
Seriously? school?
What? Animation school? Like, out of all the schools you could chose.
You want to do
doctor, medical, you chose
You don't want to do 10 years med school?
So instead of making $500,000 a year, you want to make $5 a year.
You don't want to just learn like welding.
Yeah, you don't want to just become like a plumber.
I'm gonna weld characters together.
Okay, but anyway. No, but what I was gonna say was, just
Knock
like
me off the ledge. Let's go.
we talked about this though. Like first, I don't know.
I may as well.
So like, why? So why do you want to go to school?
Because I've always wanted to do animation.
Hey, this is an episode. We shouldn't spoil this episode that we're having with Saudi for front desk.
This is
the exact same. Why do you want to go to school? Because my parents want me to.
To make my parents happy, because they want me to go to do animation, right?
That's the joke from Front Desk, right?
Yeah, season 3.
Yeah.
Cool. 2.
Anyways,
it's a lot funnier
when the season's out and edited and everybody's
we
seen
won't
it.
be laughing when we have a new animated intro.
No, so because my thing is like you can learn it without school, and then school is gonna put you in debt.
You can learn all these things without school, but
school's
I
gonna.
don't have a time to. I'm trying to learn shit on my own at the moment, but to get to the point where I can get hired is like really tough, and I don't have the time to learn all the animation I need to. So I've calculated the costs and stuff and how easily I can do it, and I'm actually seriously considering it now. So
is it easy to pay for animation school?
Well, based on the income you get, I could pay it off in 3 years.
Do you mean like if you get a job after?
Yes.
Okay.
But the average income, blah blah blah.
Because I mean like.
And I have a few.
What does it cost? $100,000 for
No. It's $23,000
for the entire.
It's a 1-year program, and then I get certified to.
From the Vancouver Arts Art Institute?
Film school. Yeah. I don't know.
But like, what if you?
That's not bad, $22,000.
What if you found someone like in the industry? And
I
tried
have
to, like,
talked to them, and they sent me a bunch of books I should read, and I purchased those books. A couple are on their way. Right?
Well, I mean, like somehow like try to work with them somehow, like.
You could try. They're really busy. That's the problem with these people.
Because my thing is like, no, I don't, but like help them, like not for you. Like, you're trying to help them, but by working with them, you learn from them. But my thing is like, if you're gonna take the time off and like put yourself in debt to go to school, you could do all of that without taking the debt.
Yeah,
learn the stuff. You could take time off and learn it yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like
I'm
I know
trying to
school is
do
like
that,
school
but
holds you accountable.
Yeah,
That's the only thing it kind of has is like there's someone telling you have an
my thing
assignment.
is like it's 1 year of my life. Yeah, it'll be a tough year.
It's not the time. I'm not talking about
No,
that.
I
like,
understand what you're saying.
I was gonna say
it's just the debt. If it was school for free, if it was like a year of school for free, I'd be like, yeah, fucking do it.
Yeah.
But it's like $23,000 is like not a little bit of money.
No, I know.
I was gonna say that it's like, with no matter how much books and stuff that you read and all the knowledge that you absorb, it's like I still feel that a lot of jobs and businesses still want to see that piece of paper.
They do, unfortunately.
That like
Not for the art industry. Yes, like if you're a fucking plumber, like you got to go to school. You can't just sign up. Like you get an apprenticeship and work whatever. There's certain jobs like Sims Pharmacy. You got to go to whatever. You have to have some experience.
I love that shit.
When it comes to art, I don't think there's.
Pharmacy. Sorry, go.
When it comes to art, I don't think that there needs to be a paper. I think if your art is good enough, people like your art.
I've talked to people, like I talked to one of the guys in the studio, he says like, yeah, there's like a small amount of people that actually have gone in without the schooling, but they suck. No, I'm just kidding. But it is a lot of work, and I am doing shit on my own time, but like working like a full-time job at the moment, and like a girlfriend, and making time for this, and making time for my other stuff.
I think
It's tough for me.
But you would have to do
animate,
that.
like-
But wouldn't you have to do that anyway with animation? Like you wouldn't be able to work.
No, but I would have a part-time job, and I would have to do like full-time days at the school with people like intensively teaching me this stuff. That's the difference. Like it's 1 year devoted to that, all of my time and stuff, and then I come out with like the skill set to work in games and.
So that's what I'm saying. So Kurt, I feel like when you're talking about art, I think like you're talking more about like the social media, like you're doing your art and stuff like that, and you have your own company and like whatever. But if you want to work at like EA or like you want to work at like I don't know.
Yeah, but I think EA looks more like your portfolio. Like
I don't like
what.
EA.
But like
You want to work as an art designer.
What can you
Game of
basically?
Thrones.
Okay, my point is, what can you do? school or not school,
yes,
can you do the job? If that's your goal, also to get the job at the industry, whatever.
Yeah.
Some places, yeah, like the school will teach you the standardized art style potentially that could help you get that job. At the same time, there's a lot of artists that I know are just maybe I'm just privy to Instagram stuff, but they just did art since they were a child and they're really good at art, and then they get hired as like art directors because their art is so good. They never went to school, or they did go to school, but I don't think years before that, I think they were already doing art. That was just the supposed path because you're supposed to go to school or whatever. But school, they would even tell you that school, a lot of artists say that school's not really worth it. Do you know what I mean? For art.
Yeah,
it depends.
And I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that a lot of these companies
are looking
for that piece of paper. It's like I mean, if you're doing your own thing, like,
I don't know. I think it's also because I did some research on it too. Like, because I was thinking about art school as well.
Yeah.
Right. And I just, a lot of them have said, like, I don't really remember any of them saying that, like, they care about that, like the paper, right? Because I was curious too. Right, but almost all the artists are like, no, they care about like your do they like your portfolio? Like, can you do good art?
That's the most important thing. Like, if you can't draw,
you know what I mean? Because that doesn't like, the degree doesn't guarantee you have good art.
You know, I have like a similar mindset to you in that regard, and like I understand that with the, like in relation to a lot of like art related things, but like when it comes to like really in-depth animation stuff, I feel like if I did that 1 year of intensiveness, then it's like I'm forced to sit there and do it every day.
And that's what I was saying, is that's the one thing that school does have, is that accountability, and it has like the expertise and the networking, right?
Yeah. But sorry, go on.
That's what I think. There's a lot outside of that you could do if you wanted to go out and do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just that school has this cultural relevance that's like, oh, it's school, I gotta go to school. Like, it's accepted when you're like, I have school tomorrow. Be like, oh yeah. But if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to this art convention and try to meet people, be like, I guess so. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But if you say I have school, they're like, oh, he's in school, he's gonna do something.
No, it's funny because I did do like a animation boot camp at one point. It was like a week-long thing at Van Arts, and like every single one of the people there that was teaching, like, yeah, I was a professional snowboarder that I broke my leg and I had to stay at home. So then I just like started animating, and then like all of them were like, yeah, I did it on my own time, and I did this. I was like, well, why am I here then in a way? Like, but like I see all the like the resources they have and all that shit, and like on the other hand, it's like, okay, that would help me in like if 1 year I can get prepped to work in an industry that I would ideally work in the rest of my life, then like
yeah, it's worth
in that regard. And then I would finally have a full-time job where I can like sustain myself, because my current job is BS.
And then I'd also say maybe look at like how likely it is for you to get a job, solely because of that. Because I mean, like, because that's the thing is like if like because my thing is like if you're good enough too, right? To get the job, whether school or not. But I'm not saying like school doesn't have the resources to teach you that skill set, right? Because like I know there's like I do definitely believe all the resources are online,
for sure,
right? But you have to do the sifting,
I do,
right?
Yeah.
But and that's the thing is like school has that set thing that you're gonna learn. The only thing is I would also say school probably teaches a lot of shit that you don't really need to know also,
that too,
right? So it's kind of like either or, right? Like
the guy I talked to, like he's through the program I would maybe do, like he was certified to do 2D and 3D, so that would make it possible for me to do like a cartoon and also like work on a game or like a movie thing or something. But it's always, I don't know.
I just think, I don't know.
Like,
it's because
you don't weighing it a lot, but if I do, I'm aiming for September if I do choose to do it.
Yeah.
And part of it is just my job currently. It's like I'm driving. I don't get reimbursed for gas at all. I get 18 an hour at the moment, and then they sign me up for this online course without asking me. So I have to, on my own time, it's like I want to be working on like a portfolio, but now I have to do this like 40-hour course for bullshit, like to make $2 extra an hour at a job I don't want to be in anymore.
No, that's not that bad. The 40 hours for $2.
Yeah,
no, it adds up to about $300 extra a month, but
that's a lot.
They're paying you $300 to do a 40-hour course.
I know.
They're paying $300 a month for the rest of your life.
But I don't want to be at this job anymore.
Okay.
It's like,
well, you're gonna be at this job a minimum of the next 12 months. So I mean,
I don't know. I'm already looking for jobs at the moment, but
okay.
Yeah.
A job that pays $20 is pretty hard to find.
Are you gonna?
But the thing is, my hours can drop like they're always fluctuating, and it's driving me nuts too. Like, if a parent just cancels, then I don't really get paid, like shit like that. So.
Yeah. No, I guess I just don't know if that like because that's one problem.
Yeah.
And then there's your creative thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the answer is school. Do you know what I mean? To connect the two.
It's tough.
Because like again, like I said, if it was free, I'd be like, I don't give go to school, right?
Yeah.
It's just $23K banking on you're gonna get the job, and then you have to pay it off after. And then like worst case, and I know I'm being a dick by being worst case here, but like what if like I don't know, you say you don't like EA, but what if you have to take the job at EA now because you have to pay your debt off, and then you have to work at EA, and then you don't like it. You know what I mean? Like that. Because there's the debt, right? It's just because I feel like you could do a lot of the same things without the debt. That's all.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could take a year off, not go to school, but do all that stuff and just be like, because it's kind of the same thing. It's just that the other one you're paying for school, right? But I mean, I don't know. I guess for some people, like a lot of people would be like, yeah, the school, the accountability, and then there's the environment. This is the big thing, right? You get to surround yourself, blah blah blah.
People, sometimes needs that accountability. Like I need to be like, okay, I'm going to this thing, I have to animate. Like whereas if I get my own chunk of time, like let's say I took a year off, and I'm like, I'm just gonna animate. Like I'm gonna get a call from someone like, hey, you want to go to lunch? You want to do this? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And then like I'm not.
Is it?
It's more like I know myself a bit.
But is it that? Is it that, or do you think that, for example, with all of us, right? Like I say, like I could like be this guy where I'm like, I don't need to be accountable because I get to do all the stuff because I try to like I edited at work, you saw me, whatever, right? At the same time, I think that's not that. It's that I have the luxury of like I have enough time to do that. I don't feel drained in my day, right? So like it's like Sim, for example. If Sim wasn't as drained from his work throughout the week, I think he would do a lot more like editing and whatever.
And that's kind of where I'm at because my job is super draining at the moment, and like I'm not.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is like I don't know if it's an accountable thing or if, let's say you didn't work as much. You probably would just, and you've already been doing a lot of art already, right? So you might have like on one of the day, like if you had a week off, let's say, maybe the third day, and you're like, maybe I will go look up some animation stuff because I'm fucking have a week off. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's the accountable thing or like the job and the rest of your life is just draining the shit out of you. Yeah. And then you go drink on the weekends because you're like, fuck it, I need a day. I need a day to chill and you go drink, and then you're dead the next day because you're hungover, and then it's back to work week, and then you're drained again, right? Like, so I don't know if it's an accountability thing or it's just the situation that you're in right now. Yeah. So I don't know if school.
I know part of it is the situation.
Yeah.
I know that for sure, but it's tough. Like I'm doing more art stuff than I have.
Like what if you like quit your job and just tried like a little bit of time to yourself before you jump into school? You know what I mean? Like just to see what you would do, and then maybe if you're lazy for like a couple months and don't do anything, maybe jump into school because that would hold you accountable and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's just my take.
This job is draining me because it's like now because my job requires a car, it's just all these added car payments and stuff, and it's like any extra money I'm making is just going towards this car, and it's like fuck this shit. Like,
yeah, because if you didn't have that job, you wouldn't have to fucking drive as much too. Yeah, right?
So I'm currently looking for jobs that are.
If you were hiring.
Yeah.
Well, please contact us at Kazu-san.
There we go. There we go, boys. We're bringing it back.
At yahoo.com.
Comcast.podcast.com.
Sorry,
No, I was thinking you should be a tech.
Became a Reflections.
You can work at my pharmacy.
Deal.
Whoa.
hey, what about us?
I mean, you can work at my pharmacy.
He's a geek. Kurt, you can as well.
Yeah. You guys can both come in whenever you want.
But Brad, I don't know. You gotta.
About that.
But yeah, I don't know.
Sim's like, I got a place for you to volunteer. It's down in North Van. Far away from me.
Okay, should we get to work? It's been like 40
minutes.
And on that note,
on the reg.
You want me to time this?
This has been on the reg.
Time this with turning this off at the same time as you turning it off.
Yeah.
Wait.